morning, and welcome to Uke Circle.
Yay!
Yay! Okay. So this month, as we usually try and keep everything themed, we're working on Irish songs since we've got St. Patrick's Day coming up, and we actually did. Robin did. Threw in an Easter song because, gosh, we get to Easter before we even get to our next Uke Circle. So a little bit of something there for everybody. So we're here to talk about ukulele today. So this is a ukulele.
This is also a ukulele.
This is a ukulele. Let's talk about what is a ukulele.
What is the ukulele, Ed?
Why ask me? I asked you first.
Okay, so ukulele is a very small instrument. It comes in a few different sizes, though. You got everything from a soprano size, which neither of us have at the moment, to a concert, which is more in the middle, and then to a tenor size. And there are other sizes too, but the soprano, the concert, and the tenor are all tuned the same way. Mm-hmm. So you can play all the same chords. This one is a tenor, and Mr. Ed's is a tenor, although his is pretty special.
Sure. Sort of a rock star looking ukulele. But, again, tuned the same, plays the same, does the same, makes the same kind of tones, sounds. So, talking about your basic ukulele stuff, we have the body, we have the neck, we have the headstock, the tuning machines. We'll get to tuning in a second. And then you have these spaces here, those are called the frets, separated by the fret bars. And usually we talk a little bit about how do you sort of recognize the frets. Generally what we do is we count down from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You won't get past 3 or 4 today. Past 4 today. So, generally in tuning, when we play a ukulele, we hold it this way, crossed ourselves, and starting at the top string going down, I've got it written down up here, is our standard tuning, which is where we're working in today, is standard tuning, and the top string is tuned to a G note. Wow, that was unison, that's pretty good. G, C is the next one down, next down is E, and then A. I didn't even hear your A. We were so close there. G, C, E, A. And how do we remember that, Robin?
Good Charlie eats apples.
Oh, good for Charlie. What kind of apples? Are there Irish apples? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyways. So that is your standard tuning. Now, when it comes to playing the ukulele, generally there's 2 ways that you might play. Either A, you're going to play the individual notes, which usually... something like that. Or you can play what we're going to focus on today, which are chords, which are a combination of notes played together and strummed mostly simultaneously. Okay, obviously you cannot hit all the strings immediately at the same exact moment. There's microseconds in between, but to strum. And then of course, we probably won't talk much about this today, maybe a little bit later as we go through things. We'll talk about strumming patterns a little bit, but you know, there's downs and ups and all that. But for today, when you're getting started, the best thing to do is just strum straight down using your thumb, and generally the best sound you're going to get is going right here over top of the sound hole, okay? So then, here's the thing about playing chords, is very rarely, if ever, you will find a song that contains one chord in it. So the question is, the first order of business is how do I make a chord, how do I make another chord, and then how do I transfer or switch from one position, one chord to another. So that's where we're going today, is a little bit of information to help you get your feet wet, certainly even though our cameraman has disappeared temporarily. If you have any comments or questions, certainly since this is a live stream, you go right ahead, and when our cameraman returns, he will relay those questions to us, and we'll do our best to answer them. So now Robin can talk.
So I get to talk now. Okay, well, what are we doing here?
Chords, what chord should we play? What chord should we know?
Well, all of these.
Well, we didn't explain what a chord chart was.
No, we're getting there.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting there. So, your chord chart, there's music on the event page for you guys to go take a look at, so make sure you have that up, because those are the songs that we're going to be playing today. But at the top of those sheets, you will see like little charts at the top. Now those are your chord charts. Those tell you where to put your fingers in order to make each of those chords. The first one that we usually teach everybody, because it's the easiest, it takes one finger, is the C chord. So, on our chord chart on the back here, you'll see you've got lines going down, which each represent one of the strings, and lines going horizontally, which represent the fret bars. Now you want to press your finger down in between those fret bars, in the spaces like Ed said earlier. We count number 1, 2, 3. So there, you can see where that orange dot is on the A string, the one that would be on the bottom if you're holding your ukulele like this. In the third space. So you want to press that string down right there and hold it and strum all 4 strings.
Now, this often comes up as the question is, which finger should I use? So generally, too, we talk about our fingers on our left hand. If you're playing a right-handed ukulele, you use this left hand to make these, to press down on these strings. Now, if I use my first finger, I'm counting those fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and play that, if I use my second finger, if I use my third finger, if I use my pinky, it's still a C chord. Now, there will be recommended fingers that you can use, and it is simply, again, getting back to when I transition from one chord to another, what makes it easiest for me. Because when you're going from one chord to another, you don't want to break your strumming. So even though I was switching chords there, you notice that I kept it nice and smooth. So that's that. Now, the other thing to talk about, because we've already got to see, is what part of my finger do I play on. I generally want to play on my fingertip, because when we get to some of these other chords, you can see that there's multiple fingers involved, and when they're, I didn't put a G chord up here. Why would you forget that, Robin? Robin, you didn't put a G chord up there. But, so how do I efficiently move from one chord to another? That is always going to be a question that'll come up. And in the beginning of playing ukulele, the best thing you can do is practice how do I make those transitions from one chord shape, as they call it, to another. And then which fingers do I use to make that nice and efficient? Does that sound like a really deep explanation of more than we need to know? But it is true, you know. Like I said though, there is no right or wrong finger to use. If there is a way that you play it with a different finger and can still be smooth, by all means you go right ahead and do that. So, so Robin's going to talk some more while I draw up a G chord.
I'm talking some more.
Some more?
Some more. Well, so yeah, like I was saying, you know, you got multiple chords, and it's all about finding the most efficient way to switch between one chord to the next, because there is very few songs, if any, out there that use only one chord. Now, that said, usually the recommended fingering for C is to use your third finger. I don't know if you mentioned that already.
I did not.
Okay. Usually it is recommended to use your third finger. You can use your other fingers depending on where you're going and where you're coming from. So if I were to say switch from a C to an F chord, I would definitely use my third finger because my F chord is going to use my first two fingers. And that makes switching between those two chords a lot easier because this guy down here is playing that C chord, and these two are just kind of hanging out, and they're chilling out there, ready to play the next F chord.
I want something to do.
Yes, just like that.
And then, of course, when you want to go back to your C chord, there hangs that third finger, and these guys go off. He comes on at the same moment. So it's a simple little process of going back and forth. And when I teach students privately, or even in the group settings, this is one of the things I suggest, is in the beginning when you're trying to learn just going back and forth between those two chords. Now when you start playing, your first big thing is going to be, I'm staring at my fingers to see that I'm putting them on the right strings and the right frets, the right time. But the goal is to be so practiced at that motion that you can switch from one to another without even looking at those fingers. Is that making sense? Excellent. Excellent, excellent. So,
Let's not do this one first.
what? Not do that one first? We'll do that one first.
Yeah, that one's easier.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I suppose it is.
So,
But we have to talk about what chords are used here and
Yes.
how to efficiently switch from one to another.
which we already talked about the C.
C and F. Oh,
We didn't really talk about how to make the F though. I just used it as an example.
yes. Well, then I guess we should talk about how to play an F chord.
So to play an F chord, we will take our, like I said before, first two fingers. Your pointer finger, finger number 1, is going to press down the E string on the first fret, so right before that first fret bar. And then your second finger is going to press down the second fret of the G string, the one that would be on the top. And then you strum all 4 strings. Now this is where it's really important that you're up on those fingertips so that you get those strings in between nice and open. Otherwise it'll sound like this.
Right. Because when you play that F chord, you've got 2 strings, like she said, right there, that are open. I didn't realize this makes a really nice pointer, too. You got 2 strings that are open, so although you're pressing on that, so it becomes a matter of learning to get those fingers sort of bridged up like this, so that you go up and over and down, so that you're not affecting those other strings. Because to make a string go quiet, you just have to barely touch it at all. You can see I'm barely touching and there's no noise there whatsoever. So it's all about letting them, so the sound that comes from any stringed instrument is about the strings vibrating. And then they go down in here, do their magic, and the sound comes back out. Okay? And our trusted cameraman has disappeared. I don't know about permanently or
maybe
whatever.
he's there and he's just invisible.
Whatever. He's not a leprechaun. Hey, why are leprechauns such good florists?
I don't know, Ed. Why?
Because they have green thumbs.
But
Oh, okay. So,
next chord.
C and F. Oh, not a G chord.
A G chord.
I don't know how well you can see this, because it's sort of small, but it's there. So, G chord, Robin. Explain the G chord.
Just explain the F chord.
Well,
you can explain the
you're
G
so
chord.
good.
Oh, well, thank you.
As in G.
So your G chord, traditionally the normal way that you would finger it is with 3 fingers. So you'd use your first finger, second finger, and third finger. First finger would press down the 2nd fret of the C string. Second finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. And your third finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. So it makes kind of like the 3 points of a little triangle there.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
However, some people will actually, once again, now just going back to alternative ways to use your fingers, some people will actually take their first finger, flatten it out to cover all bottom 3 strings, and then use a second finger in that 3rd fret on the A string, E string, on the E string, like that, if that's easier for you. But now once again, once we're in that G chord position, to move to the C chord, you just have to take those 2 off and move that 3rd finger over. Back on, off, over. Over, on with the other 2 fingers.
Whereas if you were to use the bar, you don't have your 3rd finger there and ready, so you'd have to play C with your 2nd finger in order to switch really smoothly. So you can kind of see how when you change the fingering of a chord, it affects your transition to the next chord.
Or if you're really twisted, you could.
I mean, I suppose in
use
theory,
that
yes,
3rd finger there.
you could, but it's especially on a smaller instrument, it's a little tricky to get your 3rd finger in there at that point.
Obviously, the best way is to use those 3 fingers and get used to it. In my opinion.
In that case.
Because once again, it's about getting those fingers up on those fingertips. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes. So.
Yes, it's all about practice.
Yes, it is.
Okay, we have one more chord before we play our first song.
Oh, we do. D7.
D7. So D7 is also a 2-finger chord. So you're going to press down the 2nd fret of the G and the 2nd fret of the E. And this is another instance, much like that F chord, where you want to make sure that you're getting over top of this C string here so that it can ring out open.
I don't know if you can see this. I don't know how to get the right angle.
And there's more than one way you can use your fingers on this one too. You know, you can play it with your 1st and 2nd finger. You can play it with your 2nd and 3rd. You can play it with your 1st and your 3rd, although that's a little cramped for my fingers, but...
Interesting.
Yes, I usually play it with 2 and 3 because my 2 finger is already there from F. So if I'm switching from an F to a D7, which I don't think we do in this song, but in other songs you might switch from F to D7, you don't actually have to move that 2nd finger.
And I think Robin brings up a good point. You know, there are times, depending on the song, if I'm looking ahead, I usually take time to sort of see what's the chord progression. In other words, what order do those chords fall into? And I may choose different fingers to play because, like in this case, when we're going from that D7, which appears in this song that we're going to do shortly,
Yes.
we transfer from a D7 to a G, so basically I've got those 2 almost lined up exactly like they would be, just on the wrong string, so I can just sort of hop over and add in my other finger.
That's the point. depends on the song and the chord progression in that song.
Excellent. So what is our song?
My Wild Irish Rose.
My Wild Irish Rose. As opposed to my domestic Irish rose. I gotcha.
Yes.
So, and like Robin said, there should be links down in the bottom that shows you these chord charts. It should also show you the words of the song. And again, it's about making the switches at the right time with the words of the song at the right moment. Also, it should be in there in parentheses, there should be numbers. So it would, like in this case, it says C, 3, F, 3, 6, C, 6. And what they're, in the simplest form of playing this song, 1, 2, 3 strums straight down for the C chord, then 1, 2, 3 strums of the F chord, followed by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 C's. Okay, I hope that's making sense, and if our cameraman ever returns.
Well, I think, doesn't he watch it out front to make sure
Oh,
the
is he?
audio's good?
Is he watching it out front, but then he can't tell us if we're getting questions or comments?
Out there, so he can come back to tell us.
Well, I hope he's coming back to tell us. We'd love to know you're watching. We'd love to know your questions. At least I would.
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right, my wild Irish rose.
Oh, no.
What?
My wild Irish.
La 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 la. I'll try and sing better, I promise.
That's early.
Now, there's another interesting thing. It says my and there's no chord above it. What does that mean?
That means that we don't strum until the word wild.
Oh, all right then. And wild gets 3 strums. All right, I guess we'll give her a shot.
That we will.
We will. Is that better? You're the counter. You start.
And we're back.
No, I count. We're back. Woo!
We're back. Right in front of you. So we were talking about the D chord, right? Now,
yes.
And the D chord, generally they tell you, is it these 3 fingers, right?
No, I usually
these
do
3
1, 2,
fingers?
3. 1, 2, 3.
But I have giant paws, so it's not easy for me. So now we're back to the alternative thing, and what I do is I put my thumb over the top, which does the same thing. The only thing that it does to me is then I've got to be much quicker to jump back around to get my next chord. So you can see how I try and do that as efficiently as possible. The Black Velvet Band.
Yes.
Why do I can never remember this song, and it's only been a year.
How fast apprentice to trade I was bound.
Oh yeah.
And many hours sweet happiness I spent in that neat little town. That one?
Sure.
You can play it if you want to listen to it.
No.
Oh, play it.
But
I just know the song really well.
really well. The really well. The Black Velvet Band. Dubliners,
Oh,
as
nice.
we was previously mentioned, after this commercial, which just ended.
First song I'm going to sing this evening is an old favorite called the Black Velvet Band. In the neat little town they call Belfast, now a friendless country diamond flower. And it's many years and hours sweet happiness have I spent in that neat little town. Till a sudden misfortune came over me, which caused me to stray from the land. Far away from me friend and relation, betrayed by the black velvet band. My eyes they shone like diamonds, lights alter the feel of the land. And her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll with Ukulele.
Wow. They
Yeah.
sound like they're Irish guys.
Gee, I wonder why. Alright.
18.
Yes. It's 8 times the three measures.
I can't count that high.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 3 times.
Ah. And it starts with G. You gotta watch our time. Okay.
Alright. I think we're even in the same key. Take it away.
I'm not taking it. You lead this one.
Alright. Gotta decide how fast we go. Hold on. Yeah, that's a good speed.
Start it, please. And on neat little town they called Belfast, apprentice to trade I was bound, and many an hour sweet happiness have I spent in that neat little town. And sad misfortune came over me, which caused me to stray from the land. Far away from me friends and relations, betrayed by the black velvet band. Her eyes they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land. Her hair hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band.
Yes.
You can't help but like have an accent with that.
Yeah.
Far away from me friends,
Far away from your friends and relations.
betrayed by the black velvet band. Hurr, hurry, hurr.
So much fun.
Yes, I mean, and again, fun. There you go. Wait a minute, we can't do that yet. What's the
Say that
last?
one to the end.
Wait,
Okay, so
where'd
we
the other
got
one
this
go?
Molly Malone.
Oh. Do we have any new? Oh, we got another new chord.
But it's a real easy one.
Oh,
A minor.
yay.
It's one finger. On the second fret of the G string.
So this song is called Cockles and Mussels, but it's actually, a lot of people know it as Molly Malone too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's about Molly Malone.
Who was a lady that sold fish stuff in a market.
Yes, shellfish.
Shellfish.
Mhm.
Shellfish. Is there such a thing as selfish shellfish? Keep their pearls to themselves. Okay, sorry. Okay, well, this, and again, this is one of those where you gotta start singing one word before you start playing. Yes.
Yes.
We gonna try and sing it now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone. Wheeled her wheelbarrow, the streets broad and narrow, cockles and mussels and live-a-live-o, live-a-live-o, alive-a-live-o, cockles and mussels, alive-a-live-o. I'm just trying to see. Oh, yeah. Except for the very end, it really just no, I shouldn't say that. It is a little bit repetitive in the pattern: G, E minor, A minor, D7.
Yeah, you do that like 3 times, and then it's G, E minor, A minor, G.
And then it repeats the G, E minor, A minor. And so, and here's another thing, I guess with trying not to be too bold, Robin and I are sort of seasoned musicians.
In a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm salt, she's pepper, but seasoned. But certainly when you're learning, certainly there's no harm in going nice and slow so that you get, because the performing a song, playing a song, singing along with the song is all about that smoothness, keeping it. So, if you were doing in Dublin's fair city, where girls are so pretty, you could play it that slow just to get the feel of the song, and it's a great thing. I mean, I'm a lot of times too, students and people learning get bored pretty quick with I'm going to play C, now I'm going to play F, now I'm going to play G, C, F, G. If you have a song that's familiar to you, it makes practice so much better that you're like, look, I can do a song, that's a great thing. So,
another thing too that I'll usually, like we were talking about, it's pretty repetitive, so look for patterns as much as possible.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, the cool thing about that A minor to D7, when you're at A minor, if you use that first finger, all you gotta do is drop in that second finger. It's a real nice, easy move there. G to E minor takes a bit of a finger shuffle because you're at your G and your little triangle, and then you sort of got to reload everything and sort of switch your hand. And if you notice, actually my hand shifts when I do that. So I'm here, and all of a sudden my hand has moved a little bit. So like I said too, when you're learning, sitting here watching those fingers making those moves.
Yep. And really take your time. Should we play this one again, maybe a little slower?
I suppose we could, Molly.
Okay. I'm not a fishmonger, but okay.
I thought you brought scallops for us for lunch today. And if you sell shells and stuff, are you really still a fishmonger? Or is it just a sea?
There's shellfish, because
Yeah, I
cockles and
suppose.
mussels are like, I don't know. That's what the lyrics in the song say. In the next verse, it's like she was a fishmonger and
Yes.
was such 'twas no wonder or something.
'Twas no wonder.
Because both her parents were also fishmongers.
Well,
Of course.
nepotism. So, and the other thing that's going on here, I should be playing my ukulele more like this, but I can see that with the stand here,
Ah.
I was trying to hold it up so that you could see it, where my switches are, hopefully. So we're gonna try this nice and slow.
Like that.
Sure.
Okay.
In Dublin's fair city, the girls are so pretty. I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone. She wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, singing cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Repeat 4 following verses.
She was a fishmonger.
No longer. And she was something.
Mother and father before. Something like that.
Her,
Yes.
before her, were fishmongers.
I don't remember how they go, but it's something about her being a fishmonger and how her parents were a fishmonger, and then one of the later verses talks about how even after she passed, her ghost was still selling fish among the streets.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
So there you have it.
I've never seen a ghost at the grocery store, so. So, that's your Irish stuff
For today.
for today.
We do have one more song, though.
Which is On to Easter.
Now, this one's a really simple one. It's just C, F, and G. Just 3 chords.
Dur, dur, dur,
Yes.
dur, dur. Here comes Peter Cottontail. I don't think their tails are truly cotton, though.
No, they look like cotton
They
balls.
look like cotton balls.
Mhm.
Yes, they do.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, we're gonna play C for 8 strums and then F for 8 strums.
So, I think most of you should know this traditional children's Easter song.
Of course.
And this one, you actually count yourself in because you start playing right away,
Yes.
as opposed to everything else we've done today.
Yes.
Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way, bringing every girl and boy baskets full of Easter joy. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way. Oh, it says one. Way.
However, you could go back up to the top and play it again if you really wanted to.
So, you know, and here's the thing, I think I mentioned earlier on, talking a little bit about Scrum Pattern. So you notice, I'm not being traditionally straight down. What I was doing, I was sort of hitting the top two strings only, and then strumming. Dum, 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 dum. Sort of give the song a little bit of a hippity-hoppity feel.
Yes, accenting the 2 and the 4.
Oh yeah, is that what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
1,
sure.
2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way. Everybody, bringing every girl and boy baskets full of Easter joy. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way. It said one. So, I mean,
Very nice, very nice.
that sort of had a lounge singer kind of feel to it, I know, but again, you know, anytime you do any song, remember, make it your own. You know,
Yes.
how am I going to perform this song? I'm sure that this song has been done by thousands and probably recorded by thousands and thousands of people. So, as well as quite a few of those traditional Irish songs that we did today. So, you know, that's it. Take it, own it. You can slow it down. You can speed it up.
You can change the strumming pattern, give it a different feeling, get creative.
Finger picking, in other words, what they call arpeggiation. In other words, I'm still playing the chord, but I'm using a picking pattern here to make it sort of a sad song. Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way. Completely different feel, same song. So there are things you can do to, you know, change it. So,
That might be fun
Where
with
we at?
Molly, with cockles and mussels. You know, to do the arpeggiation.
yeah, I think we did that last time we did this.
That's another.
Oh, yeah.
That's another pattern too. Is, you know, picking one string and then hitting the other, hitting the next two, and kind of getting like a, yeah, something like that. That's another very common pattern of those broken up chords.
And then there's a thousand variations of down, up, down, up, down, up, you know, down.
Or in a song that's in 3/4, down, up, up, down, up, up, or up, down, down, up, down, down, or
So that gives it sort of a waltz feel.
that it does.
Well, we got just a couple minutes left. Want to wish you happy holidays. The next ones that are coming, the
Happy St. Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day tomorrow. Obviously, is Pi Day.
Of course.
Yeah, 3/14.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, and then Easter comes in the beginning of April, so it'll actually have already been Easter by the next time we do Uke Circle, depending on the weather. which remains to be seen. Maybe, cross your fingers, maybe we can actually do a sign up and do in-person, outside, socially distanced and mask safe Uke Circle. Certainly I would think, again, weather-wise, if we can't do it in April, probably we should be able to be back in May in person. So, you know, and this, if things keep going the way they're going, we may be able to, by the end of the year, by the summertime, should be back to normal-ish.
Hoping for the best.
So certainly looking forward to that. You know, this has been an interesting journey with Uke Circle, trying to adapt from what we have always done, was gathered in a group in a circle, hence the Uke Circle title, to where we can go around and actually help you, point out things to you. Obviously, if you are interested, we do private lessons, so that's always an option as well.
We offer them in person with masks and all precautions taken, as well as virtually.
Also, you know, certainly got a great selection of ukuleles for sale in the store right now, so if you're don't have one, you're looking for one, it's a great place to come shopping. If you have one and you're like, you know, I want a really nice one.
An upgrade.
So,
or an electronic one that you can plug into an amplifier.
Yeah, or as Robin was saying, different sizes, you know.
Yeah.
So if you had like a small soprano one and you wanted something a little bit bigger, and generally when you get the bigger ones, they have more frets, so you got more available notes to play as well.
That's right.
Certainly we've got all kinds of great books too.
Yes.
That you can use to teach yourself more things.
Lesson books and song books.
And then song books, yes, that, you know, popular artists and like different like top hits books. There's some great ones out there.
I think we actually have an Irish songs for ukulele book, if I remember correctly.
I think we do. But certainly, you know, if you have any questions, you certainly can stop in, and we'll do our best to answer your questions for you. I think that's all I've got for today, unless you've got something.
Well, I think you covered anything I was going to say, so we're good to go.
I never know what you're going to say, though. But we should all, you know, they always said leave them laughing, so let's one more good. I mean, good joke for the day.
Good.
Hey, Robin, what do you get when you cross poison ivy with a 4-leaf clover?
Oh, gee, Ed, I don't know.
You get a rash of good luck. Oh, yeah, I know. I think the rest of them are pretty.
Pretty much the same level of dad joke.
Yeah. Why did the leprechaun leave his house? Because he wanted to go to the patio. Patio. I know. Well, thanks for tuning in. Obviously, this should be forever stored on the Napton Facebook site. So even though it isn't live, you can go back and rewatch this at your leisure or leisure, depending on how you pronounce it. So, thanks for tuning in. I'm Ed.
I'm Robin.
And hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Stop in and see us. Bye. Thanks.